presented by Buffalo Wild Wings. Tonight, Northwestern hosting the 4th-ranked Spartans of Michigan State. Great to have you with us. Brian Anderson alongside Mike Kelly. And Michigan State noticeably absent from their starting lineup tonight. Brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings. Mike Kelly. Is Adrian Payne. They're going small this evening.
Yeah, going to have Denzel Valentine at the 4. He's going to have to rebound very well, along with those 3 guards, Harris, Trice, and Appling.
Michigan State using their 9th different lineup in their last 12 games. As for Northwestern, starting lineup brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings. Jashawn Cobb will get the start at the point guard position. Dave Sobolewski not available tonight once again, out with concussion-like syndrome. Chris Collins in his first year as the coach, coming off that big win, his first Big Ten victory, and that win over Illinois. 39 years of age, longtime assistant at Duke. And the venerable Tom Izzo, 16 consecutive NCAA tournaments. He is now in his 19th year at Michigan State, and he is a Big Ten win away tonight from tying Lou Henson on the all-time list, 4th all-time. We're ready to tip it at Welsh Ryan Arena. Away we go. Michigan State will control the tip. Great to have you with us tonight on the Big Ten Network as Gary Harris gets off the first shot. And just as they practice it earlier today, Michigan State on the board quickly as a 2.
Brian, going to be watching the pace of this game early. Michigan State has played very fast all year. Despite that, not turning the ball over. Hard to do when you play fast. In Northwestern, because of some injuries and just depleted roster, they are trying to slow it down as much as they can.
Chris Collins said they will pack it in. And speaking of packing it in, Alex Ola with the first basket for Northwestern. Just an impressive victory over Illinois. Illinois will be on after us here tonight, coming off those 2 losses. But if Northwestern was going to sneak in the side door against Tom Izzo Spartans, that win certainly got their attention. As Harris misfires, he's taken the first 2 shots for Michigan State.
What you'll see out of Northwestern here, they're going inside to Ola a lot. They did it in that first possession. They're looking for him here. Costello's going to have a big game without Payne.
Ola's got a size advantage coming over as Harris. He picks his pocket. Gary Harris on the move, goes right at Cobb and connects for the layup. 4 quick points for Gary Harris.
He is being aggressive, looking for a shot. That's 3 shots now already for Harris as the entire Spartans team slaps the ground, ready to play some defense.
And maybe a tip of the hat in some roundabout way to the Duke Blue Devils and Chris Collins, right? Harris comes away with the rebound. Well, Michigan State goes small. They've had a number of injuries this year, and they're still battling a lot of personnel problems on the injury and illness front. But as Michigan State goes a little bit small tonight, they certainly have the talent to compete with anyone. Actually, Northwestern plays a little bit bigger than they normally do. With Sobolewski out, that means, of course, Cobb will run the point at 6'5". And Abrahamson getting his 2nd consecutive start.
Sanjay Lumpkin's got his hands full with Gary Harris, who just continues to hunt for his shot in half-court offense here.
Trice kicks it to Appling for 3. No. And Costello keeps it alive, and a 3rd opportunity on this end of the floor for the Spartans.
Northwestern's defense has been much better in Big Ten conference play, but now they've got to be able to finish the defensive possession with the rebound.
Trice goes high off the glass to finish his first basket of the night.
You see Appling here applying a little bit of pressure to Cobb. Now, as you mentioned, Sobolewski's out. We saw Illinois towards the end of the game, the last time out against Northwestern, able to speed up this Northwestern team. I don't think you want to just get in a half-court battle with them.
Crawford shoots early on the clock. Misfires on his first opportunity. There's Appling, goes right by Cobb and right between the 2 post players, but misses the layup. Ola with the rebound. There's Cobb. Backs it up. Cobb shoots early in the shot clock. Knocks it down.
Now, it's important for him to have a good game. Now, Crawford has been the guy. Chris Collins has talked about Crawford doing so much. Leading scorer, leading rebounder. Always defending a tough player. They want a secondary scorer, and they think Cobb can be that guy.
Northwestern has Demps coming off the bench once again. It's Trice. That one was partially blocked. Abrahamson got a piece of that one. Lumpkin kicks it out to Cobb. Feeling it early. Knocks another one down. A 3-pointer. And 5 quick points for Jashawn Cobb.
That's a big key for this Northwestern team. They do not shoot it well, but they will put up threes. This is not Bill Carmody's Northwestern Wildcats. They will take some threes. They're still adjusting to the system, but when they make them, their half-court offense looks so much better.
3 quick shots resulting in 5 points for Northwestern. And an early lead here as Appling backs it out. Appling's having a great year. One of the most improved players, and he was a good player last year. He was one of the elite guards in the country. Shot clock running down. Long three-pointer. Good defense by Northwestern. And here's Cobb finding Abrahamson. And it ends up back in the hands of Jashawn Cobb running the point.
See Michigan State without Payne. Don't really have a low post score. Nobody they can dump it into for that easy look.
Jashawn Cobb coming off an 11-point game against Illinois in that victory. First Big Ten win for Northwestern. Northwestern at 8 and 9 coming in. Shot clock at 4. And 1 and done for the Cats. Here comes Appling. Valentine travels. So a little sloppy early for Michigan State. Northwestern keeping it rolling.
Now this is what they've got to do. Get hot from the outside. Had some big threes late in their last game, and Cobb trying to pick up right where they left off. They've got a 1-point lead. Everybody around campus told you, great job, and they all watch now. How can you handle that success? And what a tough test here against Michigan State.
Yeah, and we're only in January, Chris Collins reminded his players. A lot of Big Ten play to go, and it's going to be a tough haul for them, you figure, in the conference schedule. But a nice start. They have the lead as we get to the second segment of this one. And Lumpkin lets a 3 go and knocks another one down. So Sanjay Lumpkin, who had just 4 points and 5 fouls against Illinois, hits an early 3. Trey Demps is in for Northwestern. There's a foul on Crawford coming over the back on Denzel Valentine.
That's the first foul of the game for either side. Wasn't that nice? About 5.5 minutes and no fouls called.
Beautiful.
I think that's happened all year. Well, they like Lumpkin. He hit the 3, but you see him matched up right now on Dawson. Dawson, who maybe isn't at 100%. Dealing with some illness here, and a final second call.
Wow. Dawson and Schilling check in, and now Michigan State gives it away. Let's check out tonight's MFS Inside the Numbers. And Northwestern allowing Illinois to shoot 28.1%. Lowest opponent field goal percentage since 1999.
Now, there was some good defense, some real good defense. There was just some bunnies that were missed as well.
That was a 49-43 final score here on Sunday. Northwestern defeating Illinois. Michigan State coming off a win as well. They had an overtime thriller against Minnesota at the President's Center. As Crawford with the shot clock winding down, offensive board, Lumpkin. And that has it blocked by Dawson. Here's Harris up ahead. And Harris, no. Dawson tips it in.
Boy, Dawson gives up an offensive rebound. He's even hitting his chest right now. He knows he made a mistake on this end, but his athleticism, the wingspan, he gets a block, comes down the other end, gets a putback for 2 points and an offensive rebound.
Michigan State off to a great start. Although Tom Izzo, you get the sense he's not real, I don't know if he's not happy. He's certainly a little more tense compared to maybe where he's been in years past. Now they're 15-1,
right?
Michigan State. They're 4-0 in conference play, but Izzo has had to deal with a lot of illness, a lot of injuries, and he does not necessarily like what he's had to work with this year as far as practice time. Doesn't feel like they're quite where he wants them to be at this point.
What did he say? He had maybe 4 practices where he felt like he had his core group all healthy and playing, able to really work with him. Other than that, it's been patchwork. Guy here, guy there. Thankfully, it's been nothing serious. You know, even he said, okay, we don't have a knee injury. It's going to keep a guy out the whole year, but they're trying to build for something big. Part of the reason I think they're being cautious with Adrian Payne is just making sure we think we got a national championship team. Let's make sure we're 100% and not rush anybody back.
Yeah, Payne wearing the walking boot with that foot injury and not suited up here tonight. Tom Izzo has dealt with his own illness as well. He's had a virus, so he hasn't been at 100% either. All roads lead towards March for Michigan State as Ola lets a 3 go and misfires. Ola doesn't shoot many. Appling kicks it out to Denzel Valentine. And Schilling is under there. And it partially blocked by Ola. And that's going to belong to Michigan State. Good effort by Jashawn Cobb. I think he stepped on the line. And Michigan State will have the possession with 17 remaining on the shot clock.
Boy, this started with a really nice ball fake by Valentine. Got in the lane. There's the hustle by Cobb at the end of it. It's the one thing you notice about this Northwestern team. In years past, rebounding has been a weakness for them. Defense has really been a weakness. And Chris Collins worked on it from day one, talking about the hustle, the effort, the consistency they're going to have to bring on defense, on rebounding. Scoring, they'll figure out. In the end, they're going to play faster. They're playing slow right now, but he's going to get them sped up over time.
Travis Trice subbing in for Keith Appling. Ola will get a break as well as Tarina checks in for Northwestern. And Trice.
Nice pump fake.
And Trice knocks it down. He's got one of the sweet strokes in the Big Ten. And his second field goal of the night.
Oh, I love the pump fake, though. Too often you see guys, it's just a lost art a little bit, with people talking about Wisconsin and their passing. They're getting a lot of attention for great passing. I think the pump fake, you see Michigan State players do it. And you can do that, get defenders off balance. Always so important.
Trice coming off a light game against Minnesota, just 4 points in 19 minutes. Got the start here tonight as Michigan State went a little smaller than they normally do without Payne. Demps lets it go. Air ball. Dawson with a rebound, and Michigan State can run the break as well as anyone, and Valentine cannot knock it down, but a foul. Free throws coming for Denzel Valentine. Michigan State, Northwestern on a Wednesday night in the Big Ten. Advisors. Beautiful look downtown Chicago and the home of Chicago's Big Ten team, Northwestern, hosting Michigan State tonight, all tied at 10. And Mike, how about some keys to the game? What have you seen early?
Well, for Michigan State, I think they've got to push the pace. One thing I worry about, I watch Michigan State, they're so talented. I wonder about a sense of urgency. Sometimes I don't think they play with enough of it. And then for Northwestern, it's that three-point shooting. As mentioned, they're not a great three-point shooting team, but when they can do that, it's going to open up lanes for them. They've got a bigger lineup now without Sobolewski. So if they can stretch the defense out, then they can get lanes to drive and to get some rebounds.
Northwestern has hit a couple of three-pointers. Meanwhile, Michigan State is 0 for 5. As Valentine hits 1 out of 2, and the free throws coming out of the timeout. And Alvin Ellis will check in for Tom Izzo. That has been a familiar look for Tom Izzo this year. You'd be hard-pressed to think his team was 15-1. As a matter of fact, they've matched their best start in the Izzo era, matching the 2000-2001 team that started 15-1. Demps goes to the basket, and the nice little runner in the lane. Demps hit 3 huge three-pointers in that victory against Illinois. His first basket of the night. Schilling down the block, kicks it out. Spartans whip it around, and Ellis with an air ball, and that's going to be an offensive foul on Schilling over the back.
Some really nice passing. They're just unable to convert for the Spartans. Take a look at Demps, though. When Trey Demps is in the game, he's looking to score. He is not looking to pass. See Tarina dropping to the hoop. You've got to defend a guy like Demps, and here's that rebound. That's tough. When a shot doesn't hit the rim, as a rebounder, you're going in, it throws you off a little bit. Schilling's got to avoid that foul, especially with Payne out.
You see the three-point opportunities tonight. 0 for 6 is Michigan State. Demps playing with all kind of confidence right now. Taphorn knocks down a 3, and how about Northwestern? Northwestern living behind the arc. That's going the other way. Northwestern ball. And they've got them riled up here at Welsh Ryan Arena.
Well, we talked with Tom Izzo before the game. He was worried about the three-point shooting. He knew this Northwestern team can get out. They're riding a little bit of emotion. Taphorn in the game. He didn't play much against Illinois. Just 1 minute. But he's a talented freshman. Got a really good frame. You can project him out a couple of years and just envision him ideal. If you want to go top end, maybe a John Sherna type of player with some size that can hit some shots.
Taphorn was a great three-point shooter in high school at Pekin, Illinois. He was a 41% three-point shooter in high school. Demps lets it go. Had a good stroke, but a little long. Dawson pulls down the rebound. Michigan State with 3 turnovers, and they trail 15-11 here with 10:35 remaining in the first half.
Just 2 fast break points for Michigan State. Now that's a win so far for Northwestern.
And that is out of bounds on Northwestern. Ellis lost it briefly. That'll stay in the possession of Michigan State.
Well, you get a sense for the chemistry, the cohesion that maybe isn't quite there with this group when you watch. And you're seeing all these different lineups. I think it was the 9th different starting lineup, or they've had 9 different starting lineups this year.
Now 9th in the last 12 games. Continuity has been a problem. Good pass by Harris. Nothing home, though. Ellis kicks it out. Shot clock winding down. Harris does get it off and knocks it down. A 3-pointer. Gary Harris has 7.
That's going to be the first 3-pointer for Michigan State. Maybe that'll be the shot that gets Gary Harris going. Man, he is a tough guard. I don't know how you take away everything he wants to do. I think it's possible.
Harris averaging nearly 18 points a game for the Spartans. At about 32 minutes per game.
It's a smooth 18, too. He's not forcing much.
Crawford comes up short. Demps keeps it alive. Another possession. And more clock to run for Northwestern. Deshaun Cobb getting instructions from Chris Collins. Demps has a fast motor. He attacks. Dawson holds him up. That'll be a held ball. No foul. One referee called a foul, but Mike Kitts had it as a held ball. Possession arrow belongs to Northwestern.
Well, this is a set play Tom Izzo and his guys were working against. They have that double screen right along the free throw line, but it's all to set up Demps on the side with the ball screen. And as said before, he's looking to score. He is not looking to go on that pick and roll and dump it down to the big man.
So Northwestern ball. Shot clock at 17.
Michigan State just goes 2-3 and all those baseline out of bounds, and they want to match up out of that.
Demps kicks it to the corner, and there is Taphorn. No, little long. And Demps runs down the loose ball, and this is going to be a long possession defensively for Michigan State.
And Brian, I talked about the sense of urgency that just sometimes I don't see out of Michigan State, and that's where it shows up on those 50-50 ball. Long rebounds. I mean, that's Michigan State's bread and butter. They never lose those.
Demps looking for Ola. Costello doing a nice job on the Northwestern big man, denying him the basketball. More defense locked up here, and throws it away. Does Demps. Threw it right between Cobb and Taphorn, and both looked at the other. And ultimately, it ends in a turnover.
Well, I think Cobb was just being a little cautious, didn't want to get too close to Taphorn, and Taphorn was trying to space to the corner. The end result was a pass in a press row.
8:30 remaining in the first half. Northwestern making their threes.
Nice.
Applin goes up top, and the lob for Costello. Beautifully done.
Applin's been so good. I think he's been the best player for this Michigan State team. Arguably the best player in the conference. Just having a great year. He's got a number of 20.7 assist games. He's got 4, and the rest of the conference combined has 4 of those games.
Well, you give him a lot of credit, too. Appling comes back to Michigan State, says he needs to improve in a number of areas, especially his shooting and three-point shooting. He's always been a great passer. Appling comes in averaging over 4.5 assists per game, but his shooting has been quite the story this year.
48% from deep.
And shooting 50% overall. Shot just 32% from three-point range last year, and significant improvement in that category.
Interesting matchup. He's going against Cobb. Now they get switched off, and he'll be on Demps.
It's Cobb, and at 6'5", able to shoot over Michigan State. Comes up short. Appling pushing it quick, right to the basket. Classic Michigan State right there, and that's what Izzo wants to see a whole lot more of. And Chris Collins wants a timeout.
Well, this is what Michigan State can do. So because they're a good rebounding team, they can run the lane. You got a point guard as talented as Keith Appling. Able to split the defenders. Demps is going out to the three-point. You got to stop the ball. You can't worry about the kick out until you stop the ball. Now, maybe Demps thought his teammate was going to be the one to stop it. A little miscommunication, and Appling's so good, so quick.
Well, Michigan State has played a couple of grinders in their last 2 games, both wins, but Mike, both overtime wins. They let a 17-point lead get away against Ohio State before they went on a roll in overtime to win that ball game. That was a tight one. That one left Izzo exhausted. Yeah, that was a 72-68 win over Ohio State. First loss of the year for Ohio State at the time. And then against Minnesota, that was another tight game. And while they did come back in the second half, they let another lead get away late.
Well, that Ohio State game was bizarre. Michigan State played so well. Then Ohio State started to press. It was towards the end of the game, and things get tightened up a little bit. Appling had some cramps. They let him get back into it, went to OT. And Minnesota's improved. I mean, Richard Pitino's doing a nice job with that group. And Saturday afternoon games, which that was one of them, I'm telling you, those negate some of that home court advantage. It takes a while for people to get into the flow.
Back-to-back overtime wins. Michigan State went on a 16-4 overtime run against Minnesota to win that game. Ola plowing his way in. And Ola, nice little touch by the big man. His second field goal.
Ola has been, I don't want to say a different player because he's been playing great all year, but in conference play, had a really big game against Wisconsin. It was about 23 points, and he's starting to show an offensive aggressiveness that I hadn't seen before.
Denzel Valentine, long, an air ball, and Demps comes away with it. Ola, 7-footer. Out of Romania. Went to prep school in Indiana.
This is where Northwestern looks pretty comfortable in the half court. I'm surprised Michigan State, especially Harris on Cobb, isn't able to pressure a little more on the ball.
Hofford cannot connect. Matched up by Kaminsky, just getting in the game for the first time. And a three-pointer by Appling. Another air ball. It's the third air ball of the night for Michigan State. It's the Spartans by one. Got a good game early. 6:27 remaining in the first half. Pointer. But first, we tell you about Kenny Kaminsky. He is tonight's Motel 6 man, and why not? How about his performance against the Gophers?
5 straight threes, made his first 5 of the game. 4 in the first half, first one of the second half before missing a couple. But he just brings a threat. You got a guy in his size who can space, who can stretch the defense. Surprised it's taken this long to see him. He certainly brings a dimension to this Michigan State offense. They've been struggling early to hit the three.
A little extended timeout here at about the 10-minute mark. Actually, the 10:06 mark of the first half. Gary Harris hit a three-pointer, and they were waiting for a whistle to take a look at it. And it looks to us like he had a foot on the line to make it a 2, which will even the score at 17 if it in fact goes that direction.
See, it looked like his toe was behind at first, but because of that little hesitation, I think there's a pump fake. That's when he steps forward. There's your signal. It's going to be a 2.
So Mike Hitz, whose son Mike Hitz Jr. is man in the video over there, we'll call it a 2. And knock off the three-pointer. So that means that Michigan State now 0 for 8 from behind the arc. That, up until that timeout, was their only three-pointer made. Taken off the board, and we're all tied at 17.
And Brian, this is a good three-point shooting team for Michigan State. They're at 40% as a unit. It's surprising to see. This Northwestern team's defense has definitely improved. They're packing it in. They're making you play over the top. And right now, Michigan State's just missing. They've had some good looks. They've just missed them.
So the stats on Kenny Kaminsky, the Motel 6 man. 12 points the last couple of games. Kaminsky hadn't gotten a whole lot of run in the rotation, but coming off that 15-point game against Minnesota in just 23 minutes. Northwestern ball, all tied. 6:17 remaining in the first half, and a foul on Michigan State.
You get Gauna for that one.
Yeah, Gauna with his first.
Just put his hands on him. It's a new rules emphasis. Interesting, Michigan State had their one loss was against North Carolina. After that game, Tom Izzo talking about perhaps he overreacted to the rules. Had his guys really worried about playing any kind of defense. They were a little bit too permissive. He said nobody goes around Keith Appling in his first couple of years here, and all of a sudden people are going around him because he didn't want to foul. They got back to basics, and it showed in the way they played.
In the corner, Cobb comes up short. We've seen a lot of air balls tonight. Appling will set up the offense. All tied at 17. Northwestern trying to pull off the biggest upset of the year. if they could beat number 4 Michigan State. And they're hanging tough. Here's Kaminsky for 3, knocks it down. Picks up right where he left off against the Gophers.
I mean, he's in there. Scouting report is out. Everybody knows what he wants to do. Talk to the Michigan State people. They say last year he was lighting it up in practice as well. Of course, Tom Izzo said you never know when a guy's just a 3 o'clock shooter. And Kaminsky proving he's more than just a 3 o'clock shooter.
Harris with a steal, running the break, goes up top, and that's going to be an offensive foul. I think Harris was trying to jump over Sanjay Lumpkin.
Yeah, I agree. He was trying to go Vince Carter here. How about this? I mean, Harris can rise, but this is just a bad decision. You see Lumpkin who's back in position. That's an easy call. Good job by Lumpkin. Lumpkin deserves some credit, too. Now, he chipped his tooth in the last game and kept playing. And the great backstory to it is he wears a mouth guard. And in that game against Illinois where he chipped his tooth, he took it out the possession before this happened because he couldn't breathe. And he goes out the next possession and chips it too. That is so painful. It's hard to even look at.
A great picture, right?
Oh, man. You know Mom was not happy about that.
And apparently she's the one who's been on him the most throughout his career to wear that mouthpiece, protect his teeth. Anyway, he's got a good look now, and he is wearing his mouthpiece.
That is just Murphy's Law, right? You take it out, a possession later. There goes part of your front tooth.
I guess he said he was having a little trouble breathing with the mouthpiece in. He wasn't getting his breath, so he took it out, chips it too. Hey, Cobb hits a 3. He's having a terrific game. He has 8 points now. Northwestern really shooting it well from behind the arc. They've hit 4 of them.
They're passing the ball well. They are spacing the floor. Chris Collins got his guys in good sets. And Michigan State unable to apply enough pressure to take them out of what they want to do.
Appling looking for Harris. 4 threes open. And a little long back over the backboard. Northwestern ball. Chris Collins working on Mike Kitts, the referee, for future possessions. Feeling like there was a foul under the glass on that shot.
Well, for any Michigan State fans that maybe haven't watched Northwestern a lot this year, you're starting to see what this program is going to be all about. And Chris Collins has got a top 25 recruiting class signed up for next year. Big class. They're going to be a force.
Cobb again. Nope. Offensive board. Lumpkin pulls it down. Here's Demps.
Ooh, would have been big.
Valentine rips it down. Appling pushes and finds Harris wide open. He misses badly.
Oh, they're just off.
Really off.
Yeah.
You have 3 air balls and a couple that have just drawn the back iron.
And not, I mean, it's showing up in the shooting, but I think also in their defense, just not applying that pressure you're used to seeing. And look how comfortable Northwestern looks right now in their half-court sets. They're running their screens. Ola's trying to post.
Ola grabbed Crawford, thinking it was a Michigan State defender as he's trying to get out to the top. Here's Demps. Harris right in Crawford shorts. Ola backs down.
Nice job by Harris there.
So Harris knocks it out of bounds. That'll be Northwestern basketball when we come back. All tied at 20.
Back in Evanston, we've got a tie game, and right now Michigan State just getting lost in the half court. You take a look. You've got Kaminsky over here, a couple of defenders down low, and no communication as Cobb is going to go right to the corner. Watch this ball as it gets swung. You've got Cobb just sitting over here. Little ball reversal. Kaminsky steps up, and Valentine just late getting to the corner. I'm not exactly sure why Kaminsky switched off and what type of defense that was. Could have been man-to-man. Otherwise, it was just a blown assignment. But right now, Michigan State's got to get a little more energy in their half-court defense.
Cobb's hit a couple of threes. Northwestern has 4. Don't forget, stay tuned at the half for the State Farm halftime report. Dave Revson and Jim Jackson will break down our first half here in Evanston. We'll take a look ahead to game 2 of our Super Wednesday doubleheader, Purdue and Illinois. And another offensive rebound. Crawford comes away with that on the Cobb miss. Second chance points.
There's a little bit of that pressure I was talking about. I'm surprised it took so long, but Appling finally the one to do it, and it turns into 2 quick points. I mean, that's why you talk about Appling being the best player perhaps on this team, at least best season so far. He's come up with some pretty big plays in transition for an easy 2, and there's another one off a steal.
Just a momentum changer in so many ways, and especially on the road. You get a steal like that, this crowd is ready to roar, although there are a lot of Michigan State fans here at Welsh Ryan Arena tonight.
Appling's got Crawford. That's a tough matchup for him now. He needs a little help there.
Crawford backs him down. And Crawford with the jump hook, easy as it gets. Putting together a great career, and Chris Collins saying that was his first real recruiting success. Yeah. Talking Drew Crawford into staying for a fifth season at Northwestern.
He could have left when anywhere he wanted. He had all sorts of schools calling him. Would have been a great addition to any team trying to make a championship run. Stay true to his school.
Dawson is fouled. Sanjay Lumpkin. And Chris Collins saying about Drew Crawford, I asked him, well, what was the key in your mind? I mean, why were you able to sell him on staying here? And he said Drew wanted to be part of Northwestern, but I told him he was going to be our featured player. The offense was going to go around him and through him. He's never had that in his career, and certainly wasn't going to have that wherever he would have transferred, most likely, at least at a high level. So he gets a chance to do that here.
And he had been a secondary option his entire career. This is the first time he's been the guy for this team.
Demps comes away with the air ball from Valentine. And Michigan State, who had a long shoot-around earlier today here, they have not found this particular rim kind at this point.
And their guards, they split up the post, their bigs and their smalls on each side. We watched their guards shoot for, I don't know, 15 minutes. It didn't feel like we saw 3 misses in 15 minutes, right? Just incredible. Now they come out having a hard time finding it.
It's going to be a foul on Schilling, which would be his second. And again, if you're just joining us, Adrian Payne not playing tonight, out with a foot injury. That is a key loss for Izzo's Spartans. So he's searching for some kind of rotation that works here. All tied at 22. Northwestern with the basketball. Minute 45 remaining in the first half. And a 5-second call.
Wow. Now Cobb to play. Another
turn it over.
Yeah, Appling again with that ball pressure. Now his teammates need to start taking his lead. He's provided some energy. He's done exactly what Tom Izzo wants of him, but he can't be the only one out there doing it.
There's Dawson. Matched up by Demps. Appling on the screen from Costello. And Appling finds some space, knocks it down, and a chance for three for Keith Appling. 6 points. Adrian Payne pleased with that effort from his point guard.
Talking about a guy here with over 2.5 to 1 assist to turnover ratio. Great decision maker, great quickness. Able to get in amongst the trees. Good finish. He's putting together a heck of a first half.
And a terrific free throw shooter is Keith Appling. 76% hit 15 out of 16 free throw attempts against Minnesota, but he misses on the chance at a three-point play. Stay tuned. News highlights more on the State Farm Halftime Report. Dave Refson, Jim Jackson in our Big Ten studios. And we'll have plenty to talk about here. The first half of play of our doubleheader tonight. Game clock under a minute.
Good pass out.
Ball movement. Lumpkin, no. Here comes Appling. And Appling clutching at his right arm.
Boy, that was a sudden stop. I mean, you could see it as he was coming up.
Not sure if that was a wrist or an elbow, but he clutched at that right arm. Michigan State's going to keep the possession here. Appling was able to get the pass off before the timeout. He is in a whole lot of pain. Let's see if we can find something.
It looked like he reached for his shoulder at first. Then after that, maybe he was holding his wrist. He's not heading over to the bench.
Well, he's going to stay in. But Appling is rolling his shoulder a little bit, trying to get some feeling back, and something is bothering him. Remember, it was Gary Harris who had the shoulder injury most of last year. Trice will run the point. Appling really not a factor, and not a timeout for Tom Izzo. And Appling in all kind of pain as he heads to the Michigan State bench. Losing last night on the road at Indiana, their first loss of the year. And you got Iowa at 3-1. Iowa coming off that big win against Ohio State on the road. And we are set up for a dandy in the Big Ten this year. So Appling will stay. He's not 100%. Harris.
Is he quick?
Steps into it, knocks it down. Beautiful stroke.
Yeah, that is tough. That's tough as a defender. Now they're going to pick up a little full court here.
8 points for Gary Harris. Got Demps on the floor with Cobb.
Yeah, and Appling's defense on Cobb has forced the ball out of his hand. Now Demps is going to have to bring it up just because they can't play against that pressure of Appling.
Game clock at 11. Shot clock is off. Michigan State by 4. Northwestern. And there's a foul. Touch foul impeding the progress of Trey Demps. Trice will get the call. It's only the 6th team foul for Michigan State, so it'll be side out of bounds here for Northwestern.
Took a peek at Tom Izzo. He looked okay with that foul because it wasn't in the bonus.
Game clock at 4. Here's Demps against Dawson. No whistle and an air ball. So the first half is over, but Northwestern hangs in there. Down 4, Michigan State. We'll have to check on Keith Appling when we continue here from Evanston. Our halftime score, 26-22 Michigan State. Let's get it back to our Big Ten studios. Join Dave Refson and Jim Jackson for the State Farm. Every night in the Big Ten is the battle, and Michigan State has their hands full. A 4-point lead at the half, getting ready for the second half here at Welsh Ryan Arena. The shooting story, big one for Michigan State, as Mike mentioned, just 1 of 11 from 3-point range in the first half. Meanwhile, Northwestern hit 4, and tonight's Auto Owners Insurance game leaders, Mike.
Not often you see Northwestern with more offensive rebounds than Michigan State. Did a great job of getting on the glass. And there you see the game leaders. 8 points apiece for Harris and Cobb.
Most of that for Harris came early in the game. It'll be Michigan State's basketball to start the second half. With a 4-point lead, Denzel Valentine.
Good to see Appling out there after that shoulder injury.
And Appling looks as active as always. And how about Alex Gauna getting the start in this second half? Valentine in the corner, in and out. And it's Deshaun Cobb who comes away with a rebound. So Izzo without Adrian Payne, who is not in uniform tonight, making a change to start this second half. Instead of Trice, it's Gauna, and they play a little bigger Michigan State.
And Costello out as well, and they got Dawson here starting the second half also. I wonder if this had to do with that, talking about the offensive rebounds. Michigan State not being able to get on the glass. Nice steal here.
Appling on the run. He's got Dawson ahead. Dawson finishes easy. And Michigan State doing what they do best. That's getting out in transition.
Well, that's the key for Dawson. Loves catching the lob. So athletic. He's not a guy they run plays for. He's finding a way to get his points just by being active.
Going to be a foul on Gauna. Got a piece of Alex Ola. That'll be his second foul.
And both of his fouls have come in the same way, just putting his hands on people. Can't do it.
So back to Keith Appling. You've sustained a number of injuries in your career. Maybe just a stinger, something like that. That would be. I mean, it looked like he was in a whole lot of pain and then didn't come out of the game, and obviously he's fine to go here in the second half.
Well, you know, shoulders can be, if it is a shoulder injury, those are funny things. I mean, he wasn't even hit. And sometimes, as you mentioned, maybe a stinger, one of those things, just had a shooting pain and then it goes away.
It's on his right arm as well. A strong hand, strong shoulder as Cobb let the 3 go. And Dawson flying high for the rebound.
My goodness, it's hard to not be impressed when Dawson goes up for some of those rebounds. He can really sky.
Spring-loaded. Harris goes by Cobb, finds Dawson. Northwestern closes it out. Northwestern did a great job defensively against Illinois. Held them to the low 20% field goal percentage shooting. Shot clock at 10, and Gauna's going to let it go. Not the primary scoring option with this group. Gauna misfires.
Well, you got to be opportunistic, and you got guys like Appling able to drive and kick. Feet have to be set. Looked like there was some hesitation there. That might have been enough to get the miss.
Crawford uses the elbow to clear some space. There's a foul, and Crawford going to the free throw line.
I think Appling pleading exactly what you were mentioning, Brian, just looking for the push-up. Crawford's so big and so strong. You see him come in. I thought he actually did a pretty nice job of not doing too much with the elbow. Otherwise, he was going to pick up the foul there. Now, that's a tough matchup, which seems to me whenever Crawford gets matched up on either Appling or Trice, Chris Collins has got that set to go down into the post. Now, that time was a drive, but in the first half, we saw him post up inside as well.
The Big Ten's active points leader, Drew Crawford, approaching 1,700 career points here at Northwestern. First half defense, Chris Collins, his team has been very stingy defensively, but as Mike mentioned, a lot of missed shots for Michigan State. They held Illinois 0 for 8 from behind the arc in the first half of their win on Sunday. Just 1 for 11 for the Spartans here tonight. 5 points for Crawford. Back to a 4-point game. Gauna gets the pass from Harris and finishes.
Boy, that's a great feed. Nice job by Gauna of just being ready to receive that pass. And Harris, all the attention that he draws, is going to find open men.
First basket for Alex Gauna. Averages just shy of 2 points a game. Doesn't play much. There's another steal. Turnover for Northwestern. Dawson up ahead. Kicks it to Valentine and a hard foul. And no whistle.
Wow. Given the new rules emphasis, that's hard to not pick up a foul there.
Abrahamson knocks a 3 down. So no whistle on one end and a 3-pointer made on the other. Cale Abrahamson knocks it down. Izzo wants an explanation.
Boy, he's right in Denzel Valentine's face. Take a look at the 3-pointer now off of that no call on the other end. Nice job by Abrahamson just to get to the corner. They're down 3. But it's down low. That's, whenever you see a guy go up strong like that, you see those bodies collide, that's usually a foul. If there's going to be a foul, though, it's down low, and Valentine loses. I think Tom Izzo, though, not pleased. Valentine went up with one hand as he was talking to him. Either that or he wasn't happy he didn't get back in time. But there was no sympathy on that Michigan State bench.
Now, Lumpkin credited with a block, and it turns into a 3-pointer by Cale Abrahamson. And it's back to a 3-point game. Michigan State's had a lot of success against unranked teams, but they've got their hands full tonight. Northwestern coming off their big win, the biggest in this first year for Chris Collins. That win over Illinois. They've kept it going here tonight. Dawson hit the bottom of the backboard. It ends up in Gauna's hands, and he'll go to the free throw line.
Pretty good vision there by Dawson just to see Gauna. He had a tough double team on him. You're right, the pass was a little unorthodox off the bottom of the backboard, but whenever you're going to get that post-to-post trap, you've got to be able to see out of it. You got to pass out of it. There's another look. Good job by Dawson finding his fellow big man.
So Gauna getting to start in the second half along with Dawson. This is the first free throw try. Gauna for the year is just 1 for 7 from the free throw line. This is not a spot that he ends up in very often. Playing significant minutes here tonight. Adrian Payne is out with the foot injury, not playing, not in uniform, and wearing the boot. 4-point Michigan State lead. Northwestern with the ball. Jashawn Cobb runs the point. No Dave Sobolewski for Northwestern tonight. He's out with concussion symptoms. Crawford misfires. And here's Appling. Kicks it to Harris. And Harris is fouled by Lumpkin.
Boy, that's tough. I've been in that position before. You're Lumpkin there. You're trying to get out on Harris to take away the 3 because Harris will pull up and take this 3. And you also want to prevent the drive. And just too much body contact. That's going to be a foul. Freedom of movement is the emphasis, and that's going to be a foul every time.
Second foul on Lumpkin. Valentine will put it in. Appling finds Harris for 3. And a little strong. And a battle for the basketball. It's going to be out of bounds on Northwestern. Crawford landed on the ball and then rolled out of bounds with it.
But give credit to Dawson there. Dawson created that by hustling after it hard, forcing Northwestern to go to the ground. Take a look here. As Dawson comes in hard, he forces Crawford to the ground, and that's why Michigan State has the basketball right now.
Michigan State at 15-1, matching their best start in the Tom Izzo era. They've had a dismal night from behind the arc. Now 1 for 13. Appling behind the back. And finds Valentine. Passed it up. Shot clock at 13.
Here's see if Northwestern goes zone here. They worked on switching to zone for man. They stay man.
Appling with the scoop, and he's fouled. And a hard foul. Crawford goes down hard as well. Free throws when we come back. Michigan State has the lead by 4. Coming up for Keith Appling. 31-27. Michigan State hooked up in a tight one at this point with the Cats. And Appling, who missed free throws in the first half, knocks down the first one.
Brian, I take a look out there. You see Schilling now in the game with Dawson as the 4 and 5. And you just get the sense, Tom Izzo, I don't think we've seen Costello yet in the second half. Kaminsky we haven't seen much of. Just searching for answers. Payne's out with an injury, and he's trying to find the right combination of guys that are going to click. I don't think he's found it yet.
It's got Appling, Trice, and Harris in the backcourt right now. We were also keeping an eye on Drew Crawford, who took a tough spill right before that last time out. He's back on the floor. And there's another steal. Harris comes away with this one. Trice running the floor. Trice has it blocked.
Lumpkin again.
Schilling comes away with the loose ball. Trice steps into one on the ball fake. Not there. And Cobb pulls down the rebound. I beg your pardon.
How good has Sanjay Lumpkin been, though? Second block in transition. Takes away an easy 2. They love Lumpkin, too. They just love his size. They think he'd be a great defender. Already is a pretty good one. They see him projecting later in his career as a lockdown defender.
Ola kicks it out. Demps for 3. Off the back iron. And an offensive rebound. Lumpkin comes away. And Demps cutting to the basket. Finishes. Good pass by Lumpkin. Somehow he found Demps.
Well, much like the first half when Appling, you see him find Dawson now, but you find a guy, gets it done on the defensive side, then he converts to the offensive end as well.
Cobb, the rebound. Cobb stops. And off the back iron. Harris to Appling. Here comes Michigan State.
I don't think that was the look that Chris Collins wanted at all.
Trice passes it up. Down to Dawson, who goes strong. Dawson can't finish. And the tap-in not there. And that's going to be out of bounds on Michigan State. Northwestern ball.
Take a look at this block as Lumpkin just times it perfect. Now give Demps a little credit too. Demps does just enough to cut underneath Trice, slow him up, and that allows Lumpkin to get the block. I'll tell you what, Lumpkin has had a heck of a second half here already. Active first half. And an assist right after that block as well.
We just talked about what kind of athlete he is. Not many guys end up on their feet.
Yeah.
After getting bumped in the air like that. Able to protect himself. Northwestern down 4 with the ball. 14 minutes remaining in regulation. Northwestern is a team that has 3 losses in the Big Ten. They've all been by 20 points or more. But then they beat Illinois, ranked 23rd on Sunday. And now giving Michigan State all they can handle as Chris Collins disappointed. Northwestern turns it over. Unforced error.
And that was Crawford. Now Crawford holds his shoulder. And again, I go back to that hard fall. He didn't look, when you don't know what happened, but the way he was blinking his eyes, you wonder if he took a shot or not. He stayed in the game.
Let's keep an eye on it. Northwestern has 9 turnovers. Michigan State just 4. Costello back in. Trice runs into Ola. And Harris goes right by Ola. Strong to the basket. And a whistle. Gary Harris just hanging in the air. And he'll shoot a couple of free throws. Let's take you back a couple of possessions. Drew Crawford taking a spill earlier.
You see there, he got hit. That's exactly what happened. Going up. He stayed on the ground for a second. We'll just keep an eye on him. Hard to say. Don't want to speculate. But we'll keep an eye on how he plays after turning it over on that last possession.
Well, hockey returns with another great doubleheader. First, Michigan State takes on Penn State, and then Ohio State and Minnesota outdoors in the Hockey City Classic. BTN Frozen Friday, presented by Buffalo Wild Wings. Friday night, BTN and BTN to go. Harris knocks down the second free throw. He's got 10 points. Crawford will take a seat. And he looks like he's scuffling a little bit on that bench. So Demps runs the point. Cobb in the backcourt with him. Abrahamson, the three-point shooter, down in the corner. And Ola and Lumpkin in the front court. It was Demps in the second half against Illinois that got loose for 3 big three-pointers. And you know Collins would like to see him continue to shoot well off the bench. And Demps goes to the basket with the left and a foul, and he'll go to the line for 2.
Demps does such a nice job of attacking and the shot clock opportunities here for this Northwestern team. Someone's got to be able to create. They don't have a ton of creators off the dribble. Demps is one of those guys. He's just going to continue to shoot, try and probe and find ways into the lane. Nice job by him of getting to the free throw line.
One of the sons of famous fathers here, the son of Dell, who's the general manager in New Orleans of the NBA, the Pelicans. Trey Demps, a sophomore, 11 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists against Illinois on Sunday. Played 33 minutes.
Correction on the floor. Michigan State foul on number 10.
Changing the foul.
Updating the fouls, it'll be Costello called for the foul, which is his second. And they're going to go to the video monitor to make sure here. I thought it was Costello, but we'll see. My kids will take a look at it.
Well, one thing you'll notice here, this is Trice going in on Costello. He just gets turned around a little bit. Boy, hard to see. A lot of contact there.
Yeah, I
get a look at it here.
Could be Appling, who reached in, got him on the left elbow, right here. Not a whole lot of contact either way.
Tell you what, the one thing I'm watching, Appling almost picked up a 5-second call. He's been so good on ball defense. And they are not, it's a sign of respect. Chris Collins is not having anybody, whoever Appling's guarding, he's from you, and they're going to take away layups. You do those two things, force people into that mid-range jump shot. It's a low percentage shot, and you only get 2 if you make it.
So they're going to change the foul from Costello to Appling. And that's probably the right call. Looks like he got a piece of his elbow going to the basket. 2 shots for Demps.
Good job right there by the crew. Don't like the delay, but you do like the fact that they got it right in the end.
So 6 points for Trey Demps. Abrahamson on his way to the bench. Crawford checks back in. Collins may let it ride with this group on the floor for a while here. 4-point Michigan State lead with the basketball. Kaminsky, who's made a 3-pointer tonight, had the big 3-point game against Minnesota, back on the floor. Trice for 3. Yes. Travis Trice lines it up.
A good restraint from Costello as well. He wasn't even guarded, about 18 feet. Had an open jumper, instead passed it up for a better look from Trice.
Always a backhanded compliment. Good job not shooting when you're wide open.
You got to know your role.
And Trice knocks down the 3-pointer. This Michigan State a 7-point lead. And that's going the other way. Lumpkin with the offensive foul. This shakes Trice.
Lumpkin's going to get the foul here. Oh, good job by Trice trying to come around, just staying active as a smaller defender. You cannot just stand there, let Lumpkin, as a bigger man, back you down. It's one thing I think, Chris Collins, you got to give credit to him what he's done. With Crawford as a big guard, Lumpkin as a big guard, they're not playing with Sobolewski. So what he's trying to do with his bigger lineup is when they get a mismatch, let's go inside, let's post up some of those guys.
And they're going to go to the video here and take a look at this last foul. And this is, you know, in that flagrant 1 area, possibly. We'll see how the referees view it. But anytime you see elbows go above the shoulders and there's contact, whether it's intentional or not, they're going to go to the replay monitor.
It didn't look like much to me.
Yeah. So hopefully just a basketball play, and that's what they say. So nothing to it, just a foul on Lumpkin.
The reviews are nice. I like the fact that you get it right. My kids put the ball down here. Michigan State hustling just to get it in.
And Michigan State does get it in. Izzo's squeezing a little bit extra out of what was not a timeout. Now Izzo is barking at my kids.
I mean, they were in a full-out sprint. They were going to have a 5-second call if they don't get down in time. I was just about to say the flow of this game has screeched to a halt. I think my kids realized it as well. He's trying to speed it back up.
Going up top, and Costello missed the lob. Went right through his hands. Shot clock at 9. They'll try it again. Costello with a reverse. Redeems himself.
Boy, that's a tough play there by Costello as well. He wanted the lob the second time. He wanted another chance. Didn't get it. And had with Justin go to that reverse.
Largest lead. Michigan State up 9. Chris Collins wants a timeout. And Tom Izzo wants to get some answers on that last play, the out-of-bounds play. Timeout on the floor, and let's check out tonight's Motorist Insurance Group drive to the hoop.
Well, we've talked about Appling and his ability to find his teammates. Not just find, I mean, it's one thing to pass the ball around, but Appling's a guy who can draw the defense, get it to his teammates in a position to score. Good job there, finding Ola coming over. Ola's in a tough spot there, trying to defend both, and Appling makes him pay.
And now Northwestern in a little bit of the danger zone here with 11:28 remaining. Michigan State up 9. Collins sensing that, gets the timeout. We'll see what he has coming out of the break. Well, tonight it's the finale presented by Reese's. Our guys in the studio break down a full night of basketball with highlights and analysis. Tonight, 11 Eastern, 10 Central on Big Ten Network. Don't forget, we've got the second of our doubleheader coming up, Purdue and Illinois. That's Super Wednesday.
Yeah, that's going to be a good one. Illinois has got to get back on track. They have laid 2 eggs on the road. It'll be good for them, I think, to get home.
Illinois losing to Wisconsin, got blown out by the Badgers, and then lost here Sunday against Northwestern. That goes, and out of the timeout, Demps with a basket and a free throw. And a chance at a three-point play. Will shoot the free throw after the timeout. This match on paper hasn't turned out to be that way so far. Northwestern hanging tough. Michigan State ranked 4th in the country. They lead 40-33. And for a team that is 15-1, they have a very stressed out coach right now. He admitted that before the game, and he was barking at Travis Trice. And that last time out. And maybe Tom Izzo looking for a little more sense of urgency from Michigan State.
Well, that's almost mild on Tom Izzo's standards. He's a guy that wants energy. You watch their shoot-arounds. Everybody comes in. They're all clapping. He doesn't want to do anything lukewarm. It's one of the reasons he's been so successful.
You talk to Tom Izzo, and after he's done, you feel like he's talking about a team that has 4, 5, 6 losses.
It's true.
It's not the case.
You're right.
Kaminsky lets a 3 go. Not there. He's made 1 tonight. Abrahamson pulls down the rebound, and big possession coming up for Northwestern.
How about that zone call from Chris Collins? Out of the timeout. Little matchup zone, trying to change things up.
Crawford back on the floor. Crawford matched up by Harris. Abrahamson kicks it to the corner. Cobb wide open for 3. No. And it's Trice who comes away with it. It's been a long drought for Jershawn Cobb, who had a nice first half for Northwestern. Hit a couple of 3-pointers.
Northwestern's going to stay in this 2-3 zone.
Michigan State shot the ball from behind the arc in the first half, and overall tonight it has been a monumental struggle for them at just 5 for 19.
It's a really good matchup zone. Northwestern did a nice job of finding bodies. Good poke away there by Demps.
Crawford gives it to Demps. Demps on the attack, and a foul. Travis Trice with the foul.
Good job by Demps here, just poking the ball away. He's a little guy playing down low. I like that 1-3-1 they used to run, having a small guard down on the baseline. We got Demps able to knock it away and try to come to the other end and score. I mean, Demps is a guy, we talked about, he wants to score. Instant energy off the bench. That's why Chris Collins keeps him coming off the bench. It's hard to find guys that can step into a game and not take a couple minutes to get into the flow.
He's got quite a motor. Trey Demps averages just shy of 10 a game. Scoring leaders off the bench this year. Utah of Iowa is the Big Ten leader, but Demps currently 3rd, and he is now the leading scorer in this game for Northwestern with 10.
You got 2 questions right now. Michigan State going against this zone. Who's going to hit some shots? They've been so cold. And then can Northwestern rebound out of it? Such a good offensive rebounding team for Michigan State.
Gary Harris leads Michigan State in scoring tonight with 10. Lets a 3 go and another air ball. Offensive board, however. Kaminsky, Harris to the basket, and it goes. And a free throw coming for Gary Harris.
And how frustrating that has to be for Chris Collins as a coach, trying to put your players in a position to defend all the sets that Michigan State runs. Nice call to go to the zone, then you give up on an air ball, the toughest of all shots to rebound. Give up an offensive rebound. Nice job by Harris then with the finish and one.
Crawford gets a foul. That's his third. And Harris trying to complete the three-point play. Cannot do it. Gauna pulls down the rebound. Well, this could be a disaster possession for Northwestern defensively.
Looking over to the bench for Michigan State as well. Adrian Payne standing up, trying to give some instruction as well, going against this zone. Showing some leadership from the bench.
Gauna and Valentine in the front court. Valentine turns, fires. And it's not there. Another offensive rebound. This time it's Harris. Back on defense, Northwestern.
I mean, so then the discussion becomes, as a coach, Chris Collins, you go, we're stopping them. You're doing what you want to do. They're not making shots, but you can't end the possession because you can't get a defensive rebound. Do you stay in the zone?
And now a turnover. Ola with a steal. Tom Izzo not pleased with Kenny Kaminsky. He was in the wrong spot. Whatever play he had called, he was not where he needed to be.
And on cue, Dawson's going to check in.
Demps backs him out, sets it up again. Northwestern survives 3 opportunities. Abrahamson, a long 3. Ola. And that's going to be a foul. Gary Harris.
Get 14 on Northwestern.
I beg your pardon. That's going to be on Demps. Yeah, you're right. It's an emphatic pointing.
Yeah,
I think the pointing is to the player, not the direction of the basketball.
No, I'm not so sure. They are going to go back and say it was 14.
Okay.
There was definite confusion. We'll have to see if we can find it. So it's going to be 14 in green. So that's Gary Harris.
Okay, I get it. I mean, I can understand why fans were confused because the foul, the pointing was in the possession of Michigan State, but he was actually pointing at the player, not the direction of the basketball. He had me going too. A referee ball fake.
You got to stay on your feet, BA.
That's right. Here's Crawford, and has that one knocked away, but a foul on Gauna. Hacked him on the hand. Gauna. It's his third. Gauna's played a lot of minutes tonight with Adrian Payne not available with the foot injury.
I think another bright spot for this Northwestern team has been as well as they play. I mean, they're only down 7 right now, 8 minutes to go. And Crawford, I don't say he's been quiet or silent. Maybe quiet's a better word. I mean, he has not had the ball in his hand a ton, hasn't forced a lot of shots, misses that free throw front end.
Well, just 4 points for Drew Crawford, who is their best scorer, averaging 15-6 a game. Gauna pounds into Ola, and a couple of big bodies come together right there. And Gauna with 5 points now.
Putting together a good game. Had 2 quick fouls, little touch fouls, but since then been pretty active on the glass.
Harris just pounds the guards. He and Appling both. Now Dawson switches over to Demps. And Harris comes over to help. And they can't move it. Boy, they close so fast. How about Appling cutting off the passing lane? Northwestern basketball, just 10 on the shot clock when we come back from Evanston. Design. Well, Tom Izzo approaching another coaching milestone. A win tonight would join him with Lou Henson, 4th all-time Big Ten Conference wins. Bob Knight heads that list, 353 storied career of Izzo. And Demps out of the timeout, acrobatic basket for Trey Demps, who has 12 tonight.
Boy, incredible shot, not only to be able to fend off physically Gary Harris, who was right in his grill, but to hang in the air long enough to get that shot off.
Does Northwestern have a run in them? 7 minutes remaining in regulation. Michigan State has not done a great job holding leads this year, even though they're 15-1. You have to put everything in that context as Appling goes strong to the basket and an offensive foul.
Is that Lumpkin again? It is. Northwestern right now, as you mentioned, trying to make a run, and watch this play by Trey Demps. Gary Harris is all over him there, not giving him anything easy. End of shot clock. And then here on the other end, Lumpkin steps in. Right now, Michigan State's got to find a way to score inside, and dribbling straight down the middle might not be the way to do it. Usually you're going to draw too much attention. That's where you got to kick it out.
Third foul on Appling, by the way. Ola backs his way in. He's got the hook shot. This time it doesn't go. Dawson keeps it alive. So Keith Appling will settle it down, runs the point. Michigan State with a lead.
It's like a 1-3-1 right now. Instead, no trapping. Matching up. Everybody finding a man.
Valentine looking for Ola, and Ola knocks it down. So getting big work in the paint. That's 7 points now for Ola and 26 points for Michigan State in the paint. I beg your pardon, Gauna.
Ryan, you remember watching that shoot around for Michigan State. They spent about 20 minutes going over their different set plays against the 2-3 zone. And that was one really well executed.
And Ola with the foul here. And that's on the breakaway. Maybe a couple of free throws coming up. Back to the Gauna basket a moment ago.
The ball movement that sets this play up. You got to watch Gauna. He's here, and eventually he's going to switch to the other side. So all the ball movement is all set up just to get bodies moved into position so they can move in. Nice. That's one man, Brandon Dawson, screening two different guys, and Gauna taking advantage.
Yeah, Ola got stuck underneath. So
right.
Back to the replay monitor they go. Take another look at the monitor and the foul. So Gary Harris out ahead. Michigan State had numbers.
So the foul here is on Ola.
It's called an intentional foul immediately. We'll see if it stays that way.
Harris did a nice job of selling it.
Yeah.
Throwing his hands in the air. A couple acting classes at Michigan State.
And he certainly has some poignant observations. Some of the rule changes. Shot clock violations reviewable. You can look at foul reviews, whether they're flagrant 1 or 2. We've already seen that tonight. You have to have indisputable evidence to overturn.
I believe this was reversed and no longer an intentional foul. I'm watching Tom Izzo right now as he talks. He's talking with Larry Sirotto there. And they took away the intentional aspect of that foul.
Harris knocks down the first free throw, and he hits them both. And that's 14 for Gary Harris. Michigan State up 11 now. 5:39 remaining in regulation. Demps for 3, left alone. Misfires. Crawford to rebound.
Well, the size of this Northwestern team really changed. Sobolewski, now again, he's out with concussion symptoms. And he's the leader for this team. They miss him, no doubt. One thing it does provide, though, is they're a bigger team without him, and we've seen it. They've gotten on the offensive glass.
Demps on the attack. Harris right with him step for step, and Harris just strips it away from him. And Harris pushes it ahead. Appling, wow, what a stop and go. And Appling is going to the free throw line on a dime. Appling able to change directions.
What an impressive duo. Talking about Keith Appling and Gary Harris. Look at this defense here.
Takes it away.
And Trey Demps defense. I mean, he's trying to make something happen. He's going against one of the best defenders you're going to find in the conference. And there's not a lot of movement going on. He's been asked to do a lot. Then how about that? That is a quick first step. Shades of Charlie Bell running the sideline there.
Ankle breaker. You know, you talk a lot about Appling and Harris and how good they are offensively, and they deserve all the credit, but they're so good defensively, so quick. And while Aaron Kraft gets a lot of the attention in the Big Ten. And I think these two could make a great case. Shannon Scott's a great defender himself, no doubt, for Ohio State. But these two form quite a tandem as well.
We started to look at Player of the Year race. I mean, it's early in conference play, but I think Appling and Harris, I don't know which one you pick. I think I'd probably give it to Appling right now. He's played better. It's early. But Kraft, I think, is in the mix. Devin Marble at Iowa, Aaron White, and Sam Decker.
Crawford has it blocked. Dawson, and that's going to be a foul. Dawson thought he got all ball. Free throws coming up here for Crawford.
With the athleticism and closing ability, Brandon Dawson just stays so active. It's the one word that constantly comes up. You talk to Michigan State people about Brandon Dawson, just activity, being around the basketball. Good things will happen for him.
Led Michigan State in steals last year, did Dawson. Crawford knocks the first free throw down. Super Wednesday continues next. Illinois taking on Purdue. Coverage starts right after our game. It's presented by Buffalo Wild Wings. Illinois back home after 2 tough road losses at Wisconsin and right here at Northwestern on Sunday. Michigan State starting to stretch it out a little bit now.
Well, this 1-3-1 now is going to get extended. You see Cobb, his great length, coming out to half court trying to force some of it rather than sit back.
This is when the high flyers of Michigan State start to become a factor. A kicked ball.
They get stretched out so much on the defensive end. Northwestern will. As you're trying to force the action, you're exactly right. It's going to open up lanes to the basket. And then those lobs that have become so familiar for Michigan State fans.
This is usually when Brandon Dawson ends up in the highlight reel at some point.
Adrian Payne again on his feet trying to direct people. Really another coach on the sideline right now from Michigan State.
Shot clock at 3. Appling goes. Appling off the glass. No. Ola the rebound. Big possession here for Northwestern. They need something desperately. Abrahamson, he's fouled by Valentine, and Valentine pops him again for good measure.
Now, Valentine was not about to let that shot go up.
Don't even want to let him see it go in.
Abrahamson has shown, I think, some extra energy. Going back to their Iowa game, at Iowa, that wasn't a great game necessarily for the Northwestern team. But I thought their first half was better than the score indicated. And I thought Abrahamson in the second half really showed a lot of energy, was hunting his shot. That's the type of player I think he can become, a real aggressive offensive player. Maybe a mismatch when you get a smaller guard on him. Certainly a good shooter.
Hit a 3-pointer earlier tonight. That 9-point game against Iowa. Just 1 point in 15 minutes against Illinois. And he hits 1 out of 2. When possessions are at a premium for Northwestern. Michigan State working the clock, trying to get to the finish line. Appling kicks it out. Valentine over to Harris. And here's Appling, gets Ola off his feet to the basket. Body control not there, and Gauna is fouled. Cobb has to grab him. Free throws coming up for Alex Gauna. Michigan State in control. They lead by 10. Purdue and Illinois coming up soon as we're done here. 3:33 remaining in regulation at Welsh Ryan Arena in Evanston. Michigan State has free throws coming as we take a look at our Reese's perfect combination. Keith Appling and Gary Harris, usually the story, and especially without Adrian Payne, they have been the story tonight.
Shooting percentages haven't been great from beyond the arc. Just 2 made 3-pointers, but these 2 guards have found ways to create for themselves and for others. I like the assist numbers from them as well as the points.
Alex Gauna has played significant minutes tonight, done a good job. He's at the line. And he knocks down the first free throw. Gauna has 8 points tonight. Started the second half. Gauna 3 out of 4 from the field and hits 1 out of 2. So Michigan State by 11. Northwestern with the basketball. And a lot of ground to make up for a team that uses a lot of clock typically. Does not get that many possessions Crawford goes barreling in, and that's going to be a travel on Crawford. He's just had an off night tonight.
Yeah, he has not been able to make anything happen here in the second half. It's always the focus of the other team's defense. They know he's the leading scorer. Good job by Valentine avoiding the foul as well there as Crawford was leaning in.
Crawford with 6 points, got 4 rebounds.
I like the possession before when Appling was able to drive and kick just like that.
Here's Dawson with the reverse just for the fun of it. And an easy basket for Michigan State. 6 points for Brandon Dawson. Also started the second half. Tom Izzo went with a small lineup to begin the game with Adrian Payne out with the foot injury.
There's no doubt Tom Izzo searching right now. Costello not getting as many minutes as I might have thought he would have coming into this game. Instead, it's been Gano, I think, who stepped up and provided those minutes inside.
Been a long drought for Jershawn Cobb. Matter of fact, his last basket came about the 5-minute mark of the first half. So he's played this entire second half without a bucket. The last 4:54 of the first half without a made field goal. Appling jump stop, has it blocked by Crawford. And Abrahamson touched it last. Michigan State basketball.
Boy, it's a lot of steps there for Appling. Now, he's so quick. Sometimes he can get away with it. With this drive to the back. A little hop, skip, and a jump. Give credit to Appling. I mean, that's the toughest job. To beat the zone, somebody's got to drive through it. Appling's the guy. He's done it well.
Appling clutched at his shoulder in the first half. What a pass. Gowna had it knocked away as the shot clock expires. Good defensive possession for Northwestern. Ola, the turnaround, has it pinned by Dawson, and he comes away with it, and he's going to run the fast break, and Dawson will go to the free throw line. That is some kind of athlete right there.
Well, that's why everybody talks about just being active, because when you're active and you're Brandon Dawson, you do stuff like this. I mean, create enough separation that you're able to jump up, get the block, come down, force the action, get to the free throw line. Dawson tore his ACL. And they say his vertical leap improved by 3.5 inches after the surgery, which means I'm 2 ACL tears away from being a good leaper.
And you know, that's a testament to him and how he attacked his rehab. Tore that ACL 2 years ago, the 2011-2012 season. Came back, the steals leader last year. And at 6'6", he pins a layup on the 7-footer Ola. 13-point Spartan lead. And they are poised to remain unbeaten in conference play to go to 5-0. It's going to move Tom Izzo up on the all-time rankings for Big Ten conference victories among coaches. At a time with Lou Hinson for 4th all-time. Debs to the basket, and he misses the layup.
You get the sense, though, word is getting out on this Northwestern team. They're going to defend. This is a different team than people have gotten used to. Tom Izzo said it was like going from the wishbone to the pro-style offense if you want to make a football comparison from last year's offensive style to this year's. But I think the biggest difference isn't on the offensive end. It's on the defensive end, where Northwestern is finding ways to bother people. Yes, Michigan State have missed shots, but they've been some contested ones as well.
That was a missed 2-point opportunity for Harris. You know, what's scary about Michigan State, they're rolling along record-wise. They're undefeated in conference, and they're not 100%, not even close.
Not close, is right.
And if this team does get it together, and they're trying to take measures to do that, they are a legitimate contender for a national championship, and they'd be hard to beat at full strength across the country.
There's a definite sense that this team is building towards something big at the end of the year and working to get everybody healthy. All those illnesses that come with this time of year, in addition to some of those injuries. And they're winning, not playing their best basketball, but they're still winning.
Taking the time with Adrian Payne, I think that's smart as well. Because Appling's going to go back to the free throw line.
Northwestern foul number 22.
Michigan State has another road game on this particular swing here. They'll go to Illinois next. That'll be on Big Ten Network Saturday. And then home against Indiana, big one against Michigan. Michigan still unbeaten in conference play. And then that's a real showdown with Iowa.
Oh, that's
coming off a big win against Ohio State.
No doubt about it. That's the game I'm curious to see. Now, Iowa's a team that's got the size. They can match up with athletes. They can match up with size. I don't think any amount of pressure is going to bother them. Michigan State's going to be on the road. That will be a heck of a game.
Iowa's legit. We've seen them a couple of times. Let one get away at Wisconsin, did Iowa, but they come back and win on the road in Columbus. Not an easy thing to do. Demps has it blocked by Harris as we wind it down, and Michigan State comes in at a 4-point halftime lead, getting a little more than they had hoped for from Northwestern, but they remain unbeaten in conference play. They go to 5-0 and to 16-1. And Tom Izzo is in our Quicken Loans amazing performance. He joins Lou Henson, tied for 4th all-time in conference wins for Big Ten coach.